Good afternoon my friends and happy Thursday and welcome to Vlogmas Day 8. I hope you're all doing well as always. So this afternoon I'm taking it nice and easy, nice and cash, and I'm just spending some more time quilting up my Quilty Trees quilt. We are on the home stretch. We're on the last half to be quilted and then we'll be able to square it up and bind it. So it's a good sort of incentive to try and get as much done today to then put the binding on, which is one of my favorite parts of quilt making. I love binding quilts. Although I am in two minds of whether to just do my normal hand sewn binding. So I sew on the binding by machine on the front and then hand tack it to the back, or I might just sort of machine bind the whole thing. I don't think I've ever really machine binded a quilt this big before, so it may be an experience if I do choose to do that. The only reason why I'm considering doing machine binding is that it's quick and it gets the quilt finished quicker so we can move on to other things, because by now I'm sure you're all sick of me talking about this quilt and I'm conscious of just showing you the same content every day of me quilting it and talking about it. So I want to get it finished and move on to all of the other exciting things I want to do during Vlogmas. So I'm currently marking up some more lines on the quilt top, ready to sit down and do a nice big quilting session and yeah, just see how much we can do today. Okay my friends, I have some happy news. I only have 8 more lines to go and then the quilting is finished. Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking today we will definitely get the quilting done and I will definitely put the binding on. I think I want to get it to that stage today. We can do it, totally. Let's do it. And happy day, the quilting is all finished. What happy news my friends. I'm so glad that that is over and I think it looks okay. It's not the best quilting job, I don't think. There are some puckers on the back but nobody's gonna see that. Ta-da! She needs good press, maybe even a bit of a wash, but I like it. It's just really simple, nice sort of grid line. I've never done a design like this before in quilting, but I really like it. So next up I'm going to make my binding. I'm going to be doing gingham binding like I mentioned the other day, as it will match with the little patch job that I had to do on the back of the quilt the other day. So I'll get that all prepped and then we will square up our quilt. So that means just cutting off all of the wadding and making sure all of the lines are straight, and then we'll sew the binding on. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to do it by hand or by the machine. If I do it by the machine, the quilt will be finished today. That seems like a very happy thought. We'll see. The office manager is back in. Hi Charlie. You okay puppy? He's got his cow. He's obsessed with this toy. Loves it. Is it delicious? Oh, tasty. Oh, okay, I won't watch. Sorry. Okay, my friends, binding is all done and I think I'll have enough. I made about 9 meters, which I don't think I needed that much. I think I only needed at least maybe like 7.5 to 8 meters, but I always like to make just a little bit more just in case, you know, because I don't want to think of the panic that would like ensue me if I got to the point when I was binding a quilt and I would run out of binding. Hasn't happened to me yet because I always play it safe. So, all done, and she looks lovely. The time's now come to square up the quilt, and I just wanted to let you know that usually when I do this, I like to cut using my big rotary blade. I think this is a 60mm, and of course it's just like all my other rotary blades that I love. It's just the Fiskars Classic stick. And then I also like to use my big long ruler that I've been using to mark the lines. This is a 60cm ruler. I don't know what that is in inches, but it's a long one. And then obviously I have my cutting mat underneath, and I just sort of like cut the edges down. Alright, let's get cutting. Okay, my friends, I am back in front of the sewing machine, and I think I've decided to do machine binding. So I'm going to stitch the binding to the back of the quilt, fold it to the front of the quilt, and then sew it into place with the machine. Like I mentioned earlier on in the day, this is going to be the first time doing a quilt this big, doing machine binding, but I'm ready for the challenge. We got to give it a go to see what it's like, and I'm just pretty impatient to get this quilt finished, to be honest. So without further ado, let's get this quilt finished. I don't know how much I'll film of me actually putting the binding on, because I've actually got my camera on charge because the battery was flashing. So it's currently charging at the moment, which is really great with this camera that I have, is that I can charge it while I'm filming, but the cable is really short. Maybe I'll keep it charged during the first section, and then when I'm actually sewing the front of the quilt, I'll film it. I think that's possibly the best way to do it. Wish me luck! Oh my goodness, we are slowly getting there. I'm now up to the point of sewing the binding to the front of the quilt, and what I've done, just to make sure that nothing moves, everything sort of stays in its place, is I've just spent some time pressing the binding over to the front. So there's the back, there's the front, and I've just clipped it all into place, which gives it very little space to move or to pucker or to warp, and to also make sure that I actually cover the bobbin line that's now at the top of the quilt. So I think we're ready to go. I'm going to solder on. I'm feeling the day of quilting. You know, like I'm beginning to feel it like in my shoulders and my lower back, but we're so close to the end that I'm just going to keep soldering on and just get it done today. Exciting times. Pretty epic, and oh man, it almost felt like it wasn't going to end, but we did it. We did it. The quilt is finished, minus label. I do have the labels here. Ta-da! They're hexie flowers, of course they are. The big one's just got all of the different colours in it, some of them anyway, and then I've also made a little one that I could write on, so I'm going to do like two together on the back somewhere. The label still needs to be done, but it's almost done. But I know what you're all waiting for. I'm going to give you a really quick tease of what the quilt looks like, but it needs a press. I need to get like all the dog hair and fluff off it and like hang it up in the backyard or something and do a nice proper shot. But here's a sneak peek for you guys. Yeah! I'm quite far away from the screen, so I don't know whether you can actually see the quilting lines, but they're there. Whether you can actually see the binding all that well, but it's there too. But I'm so happy with it. I also need to show you the back as well, because I don't think I've really shown you all that much. Ta-da! And there's the back. We've got a nice lovely row of trees on the back, and also our little hodgepodge of gingham here as well, which then ties nicely with the binding on the front. I'm so glad that worked out. You can also see a little bit more of the quilting on the back Don't look too close because there's puckers, but you know, shh, don't tell anyone. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a close-up of the binding, but before I do that, I'm just going to get rid of the dog hair. Make it just look a little bit more presentable. I love my dog to pieces, but he is the worst shedding dog I think we've ever had. It's like sprinkles of his love all over the place, sprinkles of his DNA. Alright, here's our close-up of the binding. This is our lovely top stitch, and then what it looks like on the back. And I'm really happy with how the corners came out too. They are perfect. Look at that one. That one's good as well. Okay, my friends, it's time to finish the day off and have a look at our advent calendars. Let's start with the labels again today, I think. I think we're up to day 17. This one's in a bit of an awkward place today. We've got 17 here, and I think it's like a stained glass window. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Ooh, this one looks interesting. Ah, I didn't know how to read this one first, but very clever. It looks like a piece of pinned ribbon, and it says, "That was tricky." Again, I quite like the metallic-y type sparkles to this one. We haven't had a label with this sort of blue on it either, and I really like the graphic type nature of these labels. Happy days! Pop them in their little team with their friends, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, let's do our fabric advent from the Stitch Saloon, and we should be up to day 8, and we are. A little snapshot of our beautiful bundle so far. It's looking gorgeous, and we're going to do day 8 today. Ooh, it's another fabric that's similar from yesterday. You heard the rustling of the paper and think it's food. It's not food, puppy, it's just fabric. Yeah, similar to the one that we got yesterday, which was this one. We have this beautiful like cinnamon orangey type sporty fabric. It reminds me very much of a cotton and steel print that has like that all over random dot type print, but it's really nice. It is so sweet. It kind of reminds me of gingerbread. It's like that dark kind of color. Yeah, it's like gingerbread with like a sprinkle of sugar on it. Mmm, yum. And there it is with our bundle, looking lovely. I love how we've started the month with nice low volumes, and it's beginning to get like a little bit more punchier in the colors. I really like it. Right, we'll pop that back in the box so it's nice and safe until tomorrow. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I have very happily achieved what I set out for today, and that was finishing the quilting, doing the binding, and just getting the quilt finished minus the label. And yeah, I'm just so happy that it's done and we can move on with other projects now. So as always, thank you all so much for joining me today, and I will see you all again tomorrow for Vlogmas day 9. Bye!